Hello, my loyal subjects. My name is King Wolfowl, and it is day after the Royal Rumble. Yesterday, I gave you my predictions for the show. Today, we're going to talk about the results and kind of how I feel about it, and then kind of where we go from here. Um, so we started the show with the Men's Royal Rumble, which I feel like they've opened the show with the Men's Royal Rumble before, since there's been 2 Rumbles. But I don't know if it's ever gone on first before. But I feel like it has. I don't know. Anyway, we started with Gunther and Sheamus just killing each other, which is always fun. Hopefully, they're gonna go on to Mania to have an IC title match at Mania. That would be lovely, especially if Sheamus can win the belt. I think that would be a really fun WrestleMania moment. And also, it's the one thing Sheamus hasn't done in the WWE. I think the only other person who's done literally everything is Edge, and by everything I mean IC title, US title, 2 sets of tag belts, 2 different world titles, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank. A lot of people have done Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank and a bunch of belts, but King of the Ring is the weird exception there that not a lot of people have done. It'd be really cool to see someone get into that same league with Edge. I don't know if I'm pretty sure no one else has gotten all of that, like Rumble, Money in the Bank, and King of the Ring, other than Edge and Sheamus. So Sheamus would join a group of 2 in someone who is, we'll call it the Platinum Grand Slam. You know, you get a Platinum trophy and you get all the achievements in the game. Platinum Grand Slam would be awesome. So I think Sheamus going to Mania to face Gunther for the IC title would be awesome. So having them first 2 in the match was fun. Later on in the match, we had Lesnar come out and then Bobby Lashley immediately come out after him. Lesnar was only in the ring for about 3 minutes before Bobby threw him out, which is crazy because it's Brock Lesnar. But it also sets up Lesnar Lashley at Mania, which I would much prefer over the rumored Gunther Lesnar. I would love a Gunther Lesnar match, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love to have Gunther Lesnar, but I don't think this year's the year to do it. I think Gunther Sheamus is the best bet for Mania, and then Lashley Lesnar, and then maybe we can do Lesnar Gunther next year for a world title. Maybe put a belt on Gunther and have him defend it against Lesnar at Mania. That'd be fun. Be awesome. Or even put a belt back on Lesnar because we want to upset the fans as much as we want, and then have Gunther take it off him at Mania. Who knows? That would be fun, but that's next year, not this year. This year, Gunther, Sheamus, Lashley, Lesnar, it should be the way to go. Because they have stories going on that we need to finish before we can get to the other fun stuff. What else happened? We had Booker T came in, got eliminated very, very quickly. He lasted about a minute, which was lovely. Oh, I forgot to mention, at the top of the show, Pat McAfee returned before the Rumble even started. So Michael Cole was losing his mind the entire show. Pat seemed high as heck. I genuinely, he made some weird, he was having fun, but he was saying some weird stuff the whole night. And like Corey was laughing at stuff that Pat was saying, and Corey's supposed to be a heel. It was a fun night for commentary. You could tell they really loved having Pat back. It's lovely to see him back. But in the Rumble itself, we got so the only surprises really were Booker T, and then Logan Paul came out at number 29, a chorus of boos, because the wrestling fans don't want to accept him as a good wrestler, even though he's a very good wrestler, and he has all his controversies like behind him. But when he gets in that ring, he gives it his all, and it's actually very fun. So at some point, Logan Paul and Ricochet had gotten knocked to the outside without getting eliminated, and they could see each other from across the ring and started screaming at each other. And then they just both did springboard crossbodies to each other. Both flew halfway across the ring and crossbodied each other in the midair. I literally popped so hard I got out of my chair and started running in circles in my room and in the hallway here, and just yelling because it was awesome. Favorite spot of the night, favorite Rumble spot in a long time. Especially considering Kofi keeps botching his spots. Kofi got messed up. Kofi may actually, I'm hoping there's an update on Kofi soon. It looked like he had his head on the announce table when he got thrown out, and it was not pretty. So number 30 was Cody Rhodes, which was somewhat predictable because in the pre-show, Roman had said something about having Sammy stay with him all night, so Sammy wasn't going to be in the Rumble. So the closer we got to closer and closer we got to 30, Cody came out to be number 30. Which kind of became a little obvious. And once Cody came out at 30, it was really kind of obvious he would win, which that's chalk up 1 for me. I got it right, Cody Rhodes. which I love. I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan. I got my American Nightmare blanket over here. My mom got me for Christmas. I would be wearing my American Nightmare shirt, but it's dirty because I wear it too much. I've always been a huge fan of Cody Rhodes ever since the run with Legacy, Cody, Ted, and Randy. Always been a huge fan of Cody. I thought he should have been the one to win Money in the Bank the year Damian Sandow won. Should have already been a world champion by now. But hopefully he'll get his dues soon. Considering he's going to Mania, main event for the world title. Or a world title. We'll see what happens on Raw Monday, and we'll see what happens at Elimination Chamber and leading up to Mania. But see if those belts get split in any way, or if it's just going to be Cody versus Roman for the undisputed title. We'll get to that at the end of this video. We'll get to my speculation and fantasy booking at the end of this video as far as the undisputed championships concerned. But anyway, Cody wins the Rumble. Him and Gunther having a phenomenal final two. I don't think we've seen a final two this good since HBK and Undertaker in 07. It was honestly might even be better than HBK Undertaker in 2007, because Gunther is Intercontinental Champion and Cody came out number 30, and Cody's whole arc has been, I need to accomplish things my father never did so that the Rhodes can help, so I can build the Rhodes legacy up. So it's like, should be super obvious, right, that there's no way Gunther's going to win this. But with the back and forth they were having, it seemed less and less likely that Cody was actually going to win, which is insane considering he was like the favorite. And he came out number 30, and Gunther came out at number 1, actually. So it was number 1 versus number 30 is the final two, which I don't think has ever happened before. And it was just a phenomenal final two. It ended with Cody finally eliminating Gunther. I'm trying to remember the final elimination spot. Did he disaster kick him? No, at one point he went for a disaster kick and got slapped out of the air. We were all reminded of that torn pec the whole time. He had a little bit of a scar. And he just kept getting slapped in the chest, and everyone's just sitting there like, oh, please don't hurt him again. We need him for Mania. Please don't hurt him again. At one point, Gunther had him in a sleeper hold over the rope, but Cody was dragging him as he was passing out, so Gunther released the hold so he didn't get pulled out, which was a fun spot. Good ring awareness spot. But yeah, since I can't remember what the final spot was, Cody won the Rumble. Got to point at the WrestleMania sign. Oh, I didn't mention too, Rey Mysterio was supposed to enter at number 17, never came down to the ring, and then Dominic came out at number 18 with the mask on, implying that Judgment Day beat him up. And then Cody at the end jumped over the top rope and hit the floor. So technically, Rey is your Royal Rumble winner, technically. But I think they've mentioned before that if you do not enter the ring, then your entrance is null and void. Like, if your number's called and you never enter the ring, you are not an official participant. This is technically a 29-man Rumble, but it is what it is. Cody Rhodes going on to Mania. Alright, next up. Pitch Black match. No one was sure what to expect with this. No one still is sure what it was. So, LA Knight and Bray Wyatt do their entrances. Everything seems normal. Wyatt's facing the corner. The lights come down and a bunch of black lights come on. LA Knight's gear is glowing super bright. The ropes are glowing. A bunch of the logos and stuff are glowing. There's a big old Mountain Dew pitch black logo in the middle of the ring that's glowing. Which, first off, start putting show logos on the rings again. It's fun. It's just a fun little thing. Put it in the middle of the mat like that Mountain Dew logo was. Just like the Royal Rumble logo in the middle of the ring. That was fun. Start doing it again. Anyway, so the lights come down and like everything's all glowy, and then Bray does his spider thing, and you can see there's like face paint and stuff in his beard and on his face that's all glowing in the black light, which looks awesome. And then two of my favorite people on the roster, Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, proceed to have a very boring match. It was a lot of nothing. It was no disqualification, no count out. So like at one point he had a kendo. LA Knight had a kendo stick, and all the spikes, all the sides were glowing. Just smacking Bray with it. Bray put LA Knight through an announce table, and a crap ton of glowing green confetti came flying out of it, which I feel like they thought was going to be more fun than it was. And then just as the match starts to seem like it's getting going, like just as LA Knight's like mounting a comeback, and it's like, all right, cool, this match is starting to go somewhere, Bray hits Sister Abigail and gets the win. So I predicted Bray to win, so that's two 2 out of 6. 2 Rumbles. 2 out of 5. I got 2 out of 5 correct so far. Lovely. And then Bray goes back into the corner, and I don't know when he put this mask on, but he put a mask on. You could see the straps in the back of his head when the camera gets back to him, and I thought maybe the Fiend mask was coming on. And he turned around and he had this weird glowing mask. And then LA Knight grabbed another kendo stick and started cracking him over the head, and he was just no-selling it. So Bray should always just wear masks, because every time he's wearing a mask, he can't get hurt. So I don't know why I don't know why he didn't put that on before the match started. He could have saved himself a lot of time and just killed LA Knight. So he beat up LA Knight. He knocks out LA Knight, puts him on this platform. Then he stands up, and above the platform, you can see Uncle Howdy shows up. And it's like, all right, well, that's cool. That's a cool visual. And then Uncle Howdy just Shane McMahon's himself off of the platform. Completely misses LA Knight. There's a huge explosion. I wasn't sure what was going on. Like, literally jumps off, fully misses. Funny. John Blood from New Legacy Inc. I absolutely love New Legacy Inc. There's a video on Twitter. He was at Royal Rumble, and you could see, like, he was directly in line of sight of the platform. And there's a video on his Twitter, or on the New Legacy Twitter, of just Uncle Howdy jumping through the crash pad, LA Knight falling in, and then it exploding. It looks so stupid. And then the Firefly Funhouse, like, humanoid people, like, creep out of the shadows as the smoke rises. It was a really cool visual at the end, but the whole segment was just weird. And I'm tired of Bray Wyatt, Like, Bray Wyatt has this epic build-up. What was that match? Alright, epic build-up. Like, I love Bray so much as a storyteller and as a wrestler. I genuinely think he gets a lot of crap for not being as good in the ring as he is on the mic. And I think it's unfair, like, at all, because he's so creative and so, like, good at what he does creatively. And he's also very good in the ring. He wrestles a specific style that not a ton of people care for. So you put him in the ring with the right people, and yeah, he can have good matches. It's just a lot more often than not, matches end like this, where it was just a weird match with a weird ending, with Uncle Howdy killing himself. Yeah, Bray Wyatt won the Pitch Black match, kind of predictably. I want to see where it goes. Up next, we have Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. A very straightforward match, nothing super special. Usually Bianca pay-per-view matches are one of the better ones on the card. This one was just kind of there. It just felt kind of there. It didn't go super long. And then Bianca eventually got the pin on Alexa. And then Uncle Howdy appeared. Also, that's my first incorrect prediction, by the way. I predicted Alexa to win because I wanted to start building the Bray stuff. But they started building Bray stuff without the belt. So Bianca wins. Bianca defends. Lovely for her. She'll probably hold it till Mania now, which I think should be a full calendar year, if not a day and a couple. I'd have to look up the exact dates of when she wanted to win now. So almost a year as champion. That's awesome for her. So Uncle Howdy appears on TV and just says, like, do you feel like you're in control or something like that? And Alexa's just staring at him. And then that's that. We move on to the Women's Rumble. Originally I was concerned that they put the Men's Rumble first, potentially because it was so predictable. I honestly, in my head, would have put it before the main, but I think this worked better because the Women's Rumble, in my opinion, was better than Men's Rumble was. Like, from a in-ring standpoint, and from a surprise standpoint, and from a the final two of the Men's Rumble was better than the final three in the Women's Rumble, which I'll get to. But that's because they had a full mini match. But the ending segment in the Women's Rumble was so good. Like, the Women's Rumble was better as a whole than the Men's Rumble was, personally, in my opinion. So we started with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's been campaigning to enter at number 1 for, like, well over a month. Like, that's been her gimmick lately, is I lost the belt and I want to beat people up, so put me in number 1. And they told her no, but then she came in at number 2. So it's the same thing. Yeah, we started with Rhea and Liv. Not a ton going on. People just kind of kicking each other's butts. Some notable things. Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, was in the Rumble. Got a huge, not an insane pop, but a pretty big pop for someone who's the NXT stars are usually relatively less known nowadays than they were in the past, unless you're hardcore fans, which the Royal Rumble is probably a little more of a hardcore fan audience. Um, so Roxanne Perez got a pretty good pop when she came out, and when she got eliminated, there were a good amount of boos ringing out. She's gonna be a star one day. It's undebatable. She's so good in the ring. One of the most polished workers in the ring. Super young, got a long career ahead of her. I'm excited to see what I would, as soon as she loses the NXT Women's title, main roster immediately. Whether you gotta have her, I would honestly next year, this time have her lose the NXT title and win the Rumble. I mean, I don't know what will be a year from now, but that would be fun. Or maybe Money in the Bank. Just something to hotshot the belt towards her, or put her in the main event scene of the women's roster pretty quickly after she moves up to the main roster. She belongs. She belongs. She'll have great matches with Bailey and Becky and Charlotte. It'll be great. Trust me. You watch with your own eyes. She's great. We also had the return of Chelsea Green, which is fun. And then she was immediately eliminated. I think 4 seconds was the official time. They were saying 5 seconds on the show, and then every video I've watched afterwards is at 4 seconds. I think 4 seconds. Got eliminated by Rhea Ripley basically as she entered. It was funny because I was scrolling through Twitter, and Matt Cardona tweeted like as she came out, like, "That's my hot wife," and then she got immediately eliminated. And he was like, "Well," everyone thought he was going to be in the men's rumble this year too, and he wasn't. So it's whatever. As I got pop-ups on my screen, go away. So yeah, Chelsea Green's back. We had Doudrop is no more. Doudrop returned as Piper Niven. Thank God, she's Piper Niven and not Doudrop again. It's insane that they ever changed her name in the first place. It made sense with the whole like Eva Marie, like she was Eva Marie's heavy, and her being like, "Oh, your name's Doudrop now," because I like the name Doudrop better than Piper Niven. It made sense in the time, and then as soon as Eva Marie is gone, you should have changed her name back to Piper Niven. Reintroducing her in the Rumble as Piper Niven is probably better than just having her show up and being like, "I'm Piper Niven now." It gives that pop of like, not only is she returning, but she's under the gimmick that you guys preferred anyway, and the fans went crazy for it. She was probably one of the better people in the Rumble this year. She did really good. I think standout performances: Rhea Ripley, Piper Niven, Roxanne Perez did really good for the bit she was in it. Asuka, who we'll get to in a second, phenomenal performance. There were 3 other surprises, so we'll get to those. Michelle McCool, they was tweeting out before the show that she didn't get invited to the show, but she would be there in the crowd. So they showed her at one point in the front row, like, you know, like in between matches, they like to be like, "Look who's here, look at all these celebrities. Oh, we have half of a football team here that we're paid to be here. They don't actually watch wrestling, and it's weird that they're here, but we're gonna show them." And then Michelle McCool and her kids were in the front row, and then her music hit during the Rumble, and she and it panned over to her, and she's like, "What's going on? I'm not even in gear. Oh, this is crazy." And she pulled off her jacket and she got in the ring, and she was looking great, like she always does every time she's in a Rumble. I remember as a kid, I think Michelle McCool is one of the first people I ever like hated for winning all the time. I don't know why. When I was younger, when she had that run, when it was like right before Laycool, when she was just that dominant woman in WWE, I hated her because she won all the time. And now every time she's in a woman's Rumble, I'm like, "Yeah, Michelle McCool, it's great." She's still really good in the ring. Nia Jax came in at number 30. First off, the entire crowd booed her mercilessly. They of all people, Nia Jax, they botched her return. So the timer started, and then they just hit the music. So it was like, you didn't get the countdown, and then her music. It's the countdown started, and then bam, her stupid theme song hit, and she came out. The crowd booed. The whole crowd, like as soon as her song started, everyone was booing. She came out at number 32. Immediately everyone ganged up on her. She did the whole like knock everyone away thing, and then they all ganged up on her to. I think at one point Rhea Ripley hit a riptide on her, which is insane, and then they all worked together to eliminate her. But the most important return in the Rumble for me as a fan. I can't remember what number she came out because I'm stupid. Asuka made her return. You could tell she was wearing her gear was a bit different because normally she has that like she has the bottoms with like the thong over it and then the like 6 different tops on, and she wasn't dancing as much as she usually does, but she was still doing her little like arm wags and dancing. She was wearing this like cool dragon mask, and you could tell she was wearing like black and gold like pants and like a black and gold top, but you couldn't really see the full gear, but it looked different from normal Asuka gear. And I was like, okay, cool, we're getting a revamp. And she pulls the mask off to reveal Murder Clown Asuka Kana paint. For those who don't know, Asuka in Japan was called Kana, and she had this gimmick where she was the Murder Clown. And there's this someone was tweeting around a gif of her like in like almost like Ju-on the Grudge face paint and like spewing blood out of her mouth. I'm hoping her using the clown paint means we're gonna get a very serious, very dangerous Asuka in the near future. I would love to see if they do a draft. I would love to see her get drafted to SmackDown and just run through the women on SmackDown and be the dominant force on SmackDown while you can have Bianca and Bayley and Damage Control stuff going on Raw. Like I want Asuka to run one of the 2 shows just as Hana basically and just murder people. It's what I want. It's what we'll get. Probably not, but it's what I personally would love. Yeah, she then went on to just kick a bunch of people's butts. Had a phenomenal showing. Her, Rhea, and Piper were probably the 3 standouts in this Rumble, and then special credits to Roxanne Perez as well. It came down to the final 3 of Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan. So number 1 and number 2 in Asuka. The final sequence was really, really fun. So they all ended up on the apron from throwing each other out and pulling each other over the top rope. The wife is doing something over there, and she is laughing. Okay. So at one point, Asuka goes to miss Rhea. Rhea ducks down, accidentally missed Liv Morgan. Then Rhea does kind of like a 619 kick thing. It looks like she missed, but they played it off really well with the camera movement. So she did kind of a 619 like kick to Asuka, who went off the apron. And then it was just Liv and Rhea still on the apron. And she went to go. She like slowly walked over to Liv and grabbed her, and Liv kicked her in the gut, and she did the whole like hold on to the top rope, almost touching the floor thing. Liv came over to try and punch her hands away. Rhea lifted up her legs. Hurricane rounded her off the apron. Your winner from number 1, Rhea Ripley, the first woman to go the distance. My prediction to win. That's 3 out of 4. Did phenomenal. She looked great. The fans were very happy with her winning. I was very happy with her winning. It just went great. We'll see where it goes. So if she may just take the belt off of Bianca at Mania, which I'm down for. And that would be the catalyst for maybe Judgment Day moving on to start taking some belts. So you could have any member of the Judgment Day take the US title. Obviously Theory will probably I don't think they're going to turn Theory face anytime soon. So probably have him drop the belt to someone and have Judgment Day take the belt off of him. Unless Judgment Day turn face, which I also don't see happening. I'm thinking at Mania we're probably getting Edge versus Finn again. I doubt maybe we'll get at Elimination Chamber Edge and Beth versus Finn and Rhea. That would make sense. And Rhea, as the Royal Rumble winner, can take a loss at Elimination Chamber and then still go on to Mania to win the belt. You can even use that as fuel to like, I really need to win this match and destroy Bianca. I would have Rhea absolutely win her match at Mania, because she's more that like she has turned the whole Judgment Day thing around. Like Judgment Day was on its last legs before they added Dominic and had Rhea just be like, I'm Dommy Mommy Rhea Ripley and I'm going to murder all of you and the fans are going to love me for it. Fun fact, she has said in interviews she loves how thirsty the WWE universe is for her. So it's a fun fact. It's just a fun fact for you. I think it's funny how amusing she finds it. It's lovely. She's gonna go on to Mania, win the belt, and we're all gonna be happy about it. Hopefully. So then we get to the main event. Roman and Paul Heyman come out. Sammy is looking terrified of what's about to happen. Kevin Owens came out first. He was sitting. Oh, it truly felt like a true big fight feel. Kevin Owens sitting on the top rope, just staring them down as they came down the ramp. The match itself was pretty good. I think Roman and Kevin have had better matches, but it's Roman and Kevin. It's a good match. At one point, so the story of the match is, as the match goes on, Roman's getting more and more angry. He can't put Kevin away, and he starts getting Sammy to interfere on his behalf. Ref takes a bump at one point. He low blows Kevin, and then calls for Sammy to get a chair, and Sammy's like, "You told me not to do anything." And Roman starts yelling at him like, "I'm telling you now to get a chair." He took a while to find it. Like, he couldn't find a chair in the normal, like, in like the timekeeper's area or anything. So Heyman pointed one out to him, so he got a chair. He threw it in the ring just slightly too late. Reigns ate a stunner. 1-2 kick out. Sammy's just like distraught, can't believe what's going on. So at one point, Roman gets Kevin out of the ring. And you know how normally if you're gonna take a bump on steel steps, they take the top layer off and they like power bomb you on the flat part, and they're like, haha, that must hurt. Well, no. So, like, how do I explain this without stairs? Like, use Reginald as an example, right? Kevin's laying up against the steps, right? Like eyeballs are a step, this midpoint's a step, foam's a step. He's laying like that, and Roman just grabs him and yeets him spine first into the steps. And it was like, what the heck, man? And then he does it again, and Sammy's sitting there like, oh my god, you're gonna kill this man. He looks so upset. And it was actually genuinely hard to watch for me. That bump sucks. Someone with back problems, that bump had to suck. Oh, I guess it's revenge for Kevin power bombing people on aprons so many times. So eventually Roman gets him back in the ring. He's like, Kevin's like dead. Roman hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Match is over. I should say match is over. That's 4 out of 5 correct prediction wise. By the way, your boy. Here's a percentage. I'm not gonna put it on screen. Just imagine there's a percentage here. That's the correct percentage. 4 out of 5. Now, I very rarely get emotional watching wrestling. Because wrestling's wrestling. I have fun watching wrestling. I very rarely get emotional. I very rarely get into storylines the way the Bloodline storyline has captured. So, Roman, as Roman's kind of celebrating, not really celebrating, just kind of walking around, the Usos and Solo join everyone in the ring. And they're like, all right, time to kill Kevin Owens. So they start beating the crap out of Kevin Owens. Absolutely destroying him. Absolutely. Then at one point, Paul Heyman pulls handcuffs out of his pocket. It's funny because Roman walks up to Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, he is like, I always have handcuffs for you, Tribal. I always have 2 handcuffs for you, Tribal Chief. I love Paul Heyman. So he hands the handcuffs to Roman, and they handcuff Kevin Owens to the top ropes. And then Kevin Owens takes like 10 super kicks from the Usos, double super kicks, single super kicks. It just get kicked in the head like 10 plus times. And Roman grabs a chair, and Roman's going to use the chair on Kevin Owens. Sammy gets in between them so he can't hit Kevin, and he is like, you don't need to do this. This is beneath you. You don't need to do this. This is beneath you. I don't think she realized I was recording a review. And Roman's like, you're right, Sammy. This is beneath me. You do it. Tries to hand him the chair. Sammy eventually takes the chair. And Sammy's like standing off to the side, kind of behind Roman, and is like looking like he's gonna hit somebody. And then Roman starts pie facing Sammy and pushing him, being like, I've given you everything, you have to do this. And when he turns back around to face Kevin, we get a whole bit of a second there, And then Sami Zayn wallops Roman Reigns with the chair. Roman sells it just like when he got hit with the chair for the Shield. Like, he drops to his knees and kind of falls forward on the bottom rope and just kind of stares into the crowd. The crowd popped so loud that I think they like messed up the mics because it sounded slightly muffled from how loud it was. Like, if you peak a mic, sometimes the mic will muffle a little bit, and it sounded like it peaked. Like, the crowd went ballistic. Sammy dropped the chair, turned to Jey Uso to tell him I'm sorry. He literally just dropped the chair and was like, I'm sorry. Jimmy super kicked Sammy, and they all started to beat him down. Roman's literally just yelling, kill him. Solo hits him with a Samoan spike. And they turn around to Jey Uso, who hasn't touched Sammy. Jey is standing in the corner, just staring daggers into Sammy. And Roman's like, what are you doing? Jey rolls out of the ring and just leaves. Jey just left, which I was not expecting. I expected the turn to happen as soon as like things started getting really like Roman was like legitimately trying to kill Kevin Owens. I was like, there's absolutely no way Sammy doesn't turn on him right now. And then the turn happened, and then Jey leaving. I thought Jey was gonna start murdering Sammy. Cause Jey's been saying this whole time, like, Sammy's a traitor. Sammy's gonna betray us. Don't worry. And then as soon as he's like, you know what, Sammy's not a bad guy, is when Sammy turned. So I fully expected Jey to be part of the beatdown, and he just wasn't. He just left, which is insane. But we'll see where that goes Monday or Friday. But this story has built so well, and I do like what's important right now as far as Roman Reigns is concerned is his undefeated streak. He hasn't been pinned in over 1,000 days, I believe, and he's been Universal Champion for 800 days, and he's been WWE Champion for almost a year now. Like, whoever pins him, like, it. As much as I want Cody to be the guy, as much as I want Cody to be the face of the company and be the champion, right now is not the time. Cody could absolutely go on to SummerSlam and be whoever's the champion of SummerSlam. But I think right now you need Sami Zayn to be the one to pin Roman Reigns, to end the undefeated streak. And honestly, you could even have him end Roman's undefeated streak at Elimination Chamber and use that as fuel to lead into the Cody feud. To be like, you're not undefeated anymore, you're not untouchable, and that's all I need to know is to know that you're not untouchable. I can beat you. Granted, if Sammy, it really depends on if they want to split the belts up. Because, like, say Sammy takes like the WWE title at Mania or at Elimination Chamber, and then Cody takes the Universal title at Mania. You could do that. I personally think that Cody should be taking the WWE Championship if you are going to split the belts up, because that's the belt that's kind of what the story was built around, and the belt that his dad never got to hold. The Universal title wasn't around back then. If it was the big gold, like it was the World Heavyweight title, maybe I could see him going after that one instead of the the Universal title. I don't think, as much as it's a world championship in the WWE, it's just not the world championship that most people care about, if that makes sense. So I think Cody needs to take the WWE title whenever they're ready to put a world title on him. But Sammy's got to be the one to break Roman's undefeated streak. He's got to either beat the undefeated streak, or he's got to be the one to win the world title. So you could do a night 1, night 2, and have Sammy win the Universal title on night 1 and Cody win the WWE title on night 2. But it's the story is there, and it sounds like we're gonna get KO Sammy versus the Usos at Mania for one of, if not both, sets of tag belts. But you have a chance right now to make Sami Zayn the guy. Make Sammy, maybe he's not your face of the company. There's been interviews lately where they say that neither Vince or Triple H see him as the face of the company. But you can have him as the world champion without making him the face of the company. Especially if you split up the belts. If you split up the belts, you have Sammy holding one belt and you have Cody holding the other, and Cody's your guy. Cody's your face of the company. And you have Sammy holding down the other title belt until we're ready to do something else with it. Like, Sammy deserves a world title run at this point. And with how this story has gone and how over he is, he needs to be the one to break Roman's undefeated streak, whether he takes the belts or not. Right now, the undefeated streak of Roman is more important than the belts, which is insane to say, but pinning or submitting the tribal chief right now takes precedence over taking his titles away from him. And I think Sami needs to be that one, even though I believe Cody needs to win a world title. Had Sami been in the Rumble, Sami would have been the perfect choice to win the Rumble. But Sami wasn't in the Rumble. So Cody was the best choice there. We're in a weird situation where you have two guys. You have two guys that are the perfect person to stop Roman Reigns. One, I was about to say one that the fans want and one that the company wants, but the fans want both of them. You've managed to do, like, granted, I think Cody and Sami did most of the legwork themselves. Cody's beloved because of his time in AEW and his time on the Indies, and many people thought he should have been world champion in his first run. Sami's just everything they've given him over the past few years has been fun. He's done phenomenally ever since the conspiracy theory Sami Zayn with the IC title, and they vacated the title off of him and then he won it back. Like, everything about Sami Zayn over the last couple of years has been like almost Daniel Bryan-esque, like yes movement acclaim for fans to just latch onto him and make him our guy. And there will be more chances to put a belt on Cody. Let's put it this way. There will be another chance to put a belt on Cody and make him the guy. I personally think now is your best chance to make Sami Zayn a main event megastar. This is your best chance to put the belt on Sami, put one of the belts on Sami, put both of the belts on Sami. Do whatever you want, but put a belt on Sami. Now is your chance. Venus. No, come back. I was going to tell you. Venus, do you agree? Now is their chance to put the belt on. She doesn't agree. I guess she doesn't agree. I scared her. I'm sorry. This is my other cat's usually in this room, so they don't come in this room super often, and I think they're sleeping by the heat register. So yeah, I think genuinely, you need Sami to be the first person to pin Roman with you, and it would be better to put a belt on him. You don't necessarily need to put the belt on him. I think if they're going to split the belts up, Sami needs to go after the Universal title and Cody needs to go after the WWE title. Because the WWE title is more important to Cody's story and the Universal title is more important to Sami Zayn's story. Venus, do you agree? Do you agree? What are you doing? Come here. Come say hi to the people. About to wrap this video up, Venus. You gotta come say. Oh, there she is. She matches the pillow. Vivi! Hi! Reginald. I'm gonna end this video. Paprika just woke up, so I'm gonna end this video before they get into a fight. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Rumble and where you think we're going from here, especially with regards into Sami and Cody and the Bloodline and WrestleMania. I really want to know people's insights, see if they agree with me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be good people. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.